Welcome to Bible Study with Fred. I'm in the third part of my discussion of Mark chapter 5, verses 1 to 20. I hope that you'll follow along with me and we can have a Bible study together. A Bible's open. Maybe you're looking at a Bible program on your computer. And feel free to make comments, share your interpretation if you disagree with me or even if you agree with me. And then I will offer you my interpretation, which I've prayed about and asked God to give me something from His Word, and I hope you do too. I look forward to what you have to say. So let's get to part 3 of my discussion of Mark 5, 1 to 20. Now, here's at verse 11. Now there was there nigh unto the mountains a great herd of swine feeding, and all the devils besought him, saying, Send us into the swine, that we may enter into them. Now, I think it's interesting that a large part of, a daily part of the Roman garrison soldiers' diet included pork. And we don't know what these swine were being cared for, who the market was for obviously for Gentiles, because swine were an unclean animal to the Jews. Whether these were Jews herding them, catering to the needs and demands of the Gentiles, a Roman garrison or whatever. But I think it's very interesting that this situation. This is a great sermon. Illustrations are possible from this about unclean and clean and what Christ did here. But in any event, um, devils crave a body, and animals will do. Obviously, not only humans, but animals can be possessed by unclean spirits. Now, verse 13, and forthwith Jesus gave them leave, and the unclean spirits went out and entered into the swine, and the herd ran violently down a steep place under the sea. They were about 2,000. That's a huge herd. That's why I'm thinking of Roman garrison soldiers serving the needs of the Romans, because just the large number, and were choked in the sea. Now, there are possibly 1,000 unclean spirits in the man or more. Oh, by the way, from what I said yesterday, you know, referring it to the deep being the sea is the most logical interpretation of that. I just wanted to share with you that other interpretation about the deep being outer space, because I just thought it was cool. Okay, so now verses 14 and 15. And they that fed the swine fled and told it in the city and in the country, and they went out to see what it was that was done. And they come to Jesus and see him that was possessed with the devil and had the legion, sitting and clothed and in his right mind, and they were afraid. Now devils like nakedness. Contrast the shame that a godly person feels about his or her public nakedness by the statements in Genesis 2 before the fall and the understanding of good and evil. People who insist on displaying their nakedness to the world are not innocent little children who have no understanding. They are adults possessed by an unclean spirit, which somewhat explains pornography and much of the activity at the beach, which, as I have heard, 95% of Americans live within an hour of. Genesis 2:25. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. Verse 16. And also they that saw it told them how it befell to him that was possessed with the devil, and also concerning the swine. Now devils make a person hurt themselves. They want a body to inhabit, and they're drawn to water. Verse 17, they began to pray him to depart out of their coast. Often when God's power is manifest in a person's life, his family and friends want nothing more to do with him because they want Jesus to leave. Verses 18 to 20, and when he was come into the ship, he that had been possessed with the devil prayed him that he might be with him. Howbeit Jesus suffered him not, but saith unto him, Go home to thy friends, and tell them how great things the Lord hath done for thee, and hath had compassion on thee. And he departed and began to publish in Decapolis how great things Jesus had done for him, and all men did marvel. Now Decapolis, from the Greek words deca for 10 and polis for city, the 10 cities, was a region on the eastern side of what is now Israel. Some of the cities would be in Jordan now, and the furthest north Damascus is in Syria. Most of them, except for Damascus, were founded between the death of Alexander the Great and the conquest of Palestine, what the Romans called Palestine, by the Romans. In their beginning, those cities founded by Greek conquerors had a Greek culture in sharp contrast to the surrounding Semitic people. The evidence of a herd of pigs, forbidden to eat under the law given to Moses, shows how much this was a Gentile-dominated region, until the Emperor Trajan added Arabia to the official roster of Roman claimed territories. Decapolis would have been the frontier area for the empire in that particular part of the world. Psalm 26:7, that I may publish with the voice of thanksgiving and tell of all thy wondrous works. The man who had been delivered of so much pain and anguish wanted desperately to go with Jesus, but Jesus ordered him to publish to let everyone know what had been done for him in his home cities. There are many great preaching illustrations from those verses, but one might be how, as much as we might think it would be wonderful to go home to be with the Lord as soon as we're saved, we're told to stay here and publish what a marvelous thing Christ has done for us in our home city. Of course, there are Christians who are mighty witnesses for God down the road, but who don't even know their own neighbors, much less publish what God has done for them to those folks. How many of your neighbors have you visited, handed a gospel tract to, or helped in some way to show your love for them and Christ's love for them? Does your family know your testimony? Do you have a sound witness to them and those who live around you? If the people closest to you in your family or neighborhood aren't drawn by you having the fruit of the Spirit of God flowing from your life, what makes you think God is going to give you the blessings of seeing people saved 20 miles away? It's possible the only way that your neighbors and family know you're a Christian is by your conspicuous absence on Sunday morning or Wednesday night. In your day-to-day activities around the people you spend the most time with, at work, at home, in your neighborhood, at the local market, what is your testimony? Is it that of a person of character who is grateful to Christ for his mercy and loves other people? Or are you known as a pain in the neck who just likes to point attention to how different or weird they are? Maybe no one who lives around you even knows what you are. Publish in, now you can fill in the town in which you live in the blank, how great things Christ has done for you. Okay, so we'll stop there. Pick it up in verse 21 and passage next. So I'm asking you again to please read your Bible, study your Bible, two different things, cross-reference the verses, pray to God for wisdom and understanding, and share your interpretation with someone else. Simply open the Bible today and let God speak to you through his word. You can purchase my comments on Amazon. You can follow me for free on blogger.com if you want to read. But if you watch this video this far, would you please click like and subscribe or follow? I really enjoy doing these. I will go over all these if I live long enough. I will go over all of these things I've done again to see what I can glean from them, to see what God has changed in whatever interpretation he gives me. But I just enjoy doing this, and I hope you get something out of it too. Thank you.